all children grow up, except one. Peter Pan is a story that has been ingrained in our culture from the play to the book to film adaptations with many interpretations. Probably the three films that stick out for me is the Disney animated feature, the 2003 live-action film, and Steven Spielberg's Hook. We all know the story of the boy who decides never to grow up and takes the darling children to the magical land of Neverland, having adventures with lost boys, pirates, Indians, and mermaids, and one memorable fairy. And while Peter Pan is a fun and entertaining story, one thing that I love mostly now that I'm older is that hint of darkness. We do get it in the book and mostly the 2003 film and Hook of that tragedy of Peter Pan, but not hugely on the darkness. As kids, we all probably wish that we didn't have to grow up, and that there was a place where we could always have fun. But remember, Peter Pan actually did that, and hates the idea of growing up so much that in the book, he doesn't even want to know what he's missing. So there must be some madness in him that motivates to go fully through with it. Well, if you thought the original had a bit of underlying darkness, Once Upon a Time goes and takes it full force. Instead of lost boys being sent to Neverland where they're left abandoned, Peter Pan pretty much hypnotizes and kidnaps them as well as manipulation. His shadow is also used to take any child to Neverland and be his watchman, holds Wendy hostage, the reason why Hook became a pirate, and all of this is his one goal, to always be a kid and never grow up. So what would motivate him to do such drastic things to stay young? Well, he started out as a married man who had a little baby boy. However, after some complications, his wife had left him with his son, and he would blame this little boy for his broken family and decided to give him a demeaning name which could be defined as Little Rat, Rumpelstiltskin. He left his son most of the time with women who spun wool, in which young Rumpel grows his skill for spinning, while his father cons for money or drinks at the tavern. The women give Rumpel a magic bean so the two could have a fresh start, and his father remembers a place called Neverland. His father tells him that they could fly in this land, but knows he needs pixie dust from pixie flowers. As his father climbs a tree to collect some, a shadow taunts him, saying he doesn't belong as he is a grown man. Believing he is a young man, he has the shadow to take his son to turn him into Peter Pan. Rumpel returns to the enchanted forest and is most likely being raised by the women who taught him to spin. As far as Peter Pan is concerned, he is warned by the shadow that Neverland is a place for children, and that he only has a limited time to stay young. From this backstory, we can only assume that Peter Pan will do whatever it takes to stay young, and to always be a little boy, and to have fun, no matter the cost. But what about that little fairy? We all know Tinkerbell, right? She's Peter Pan's right-hand fairy who would do anything for him. She's also known for being a little rebellious and easily jealous, and I think that's why we love her. The image of a little fairy but has plenty of flaws in her personality. That's what makes her relatable, but she still shows such loyalty and courage, especially for those she loves. However, in Once Upon a Time, Tinkerbell tries to support someone who is not Peter Pan. In fact, would you believe when I say she tries to look out for the evil queen? Well, Regina is at an all-time low. She's stuck in an unloved marriage, growing tired of her magic lessons with Rumpelstiltskin, and has been told she cannot escape the darkness growing inside her. One night, she is so full of rage that she breaks the railings on the balcony, causing her to fall. This is where Tinkerbell comes in and saves her. After learning about Regina's frustration, Tinkerbell believes that she deserves a second chance, but this does not sit well with the Blue Fairy. She informs Tinkerbell of all of her rule-breaking and that Regina is not worth her help because of her darkness and the influences around her, such as Cora and Rumpel. Of course, what does Tinkerbell do? She disobeys, of course, and steals pixie dust to use on Regina. She tells her that pixie dust can be used to find happiness as well as to fly. They follow the trail and comes across a tavern, where the dust shows a man inside who has a lion tattoo on his arm, but his face is not shown. Tinkerbell wishes her good luck and flies off, but Regina, unfortunately, panics and runs away. She then lies to Tinkerbell that the pixie dust was wrong, and that she is a terrible fairy. The blue fairy, of course, knows about her theft, and so Tinkerbell has her wings taken away and falls to Earth. But even though she is stripped of her magic, Tinkerbell doesn't stop. She advises the evil queen's father in secret about the location of Cupid's arrow years later. He tricks his daughter saying it's a way to kill Snow White, but when the evil queen realizes what it is, she uses her magic on the arrow. How Cupid's arrow works is once you release it from its bow, it travels to your true love. Tinkerbell believes the arrow would help Regina find the man with the lion tattoo, but instead the evil queen uses it to find the person she hates most. Eventually, Tinkerbell ends up in Neverland, becoming an ally for Peter Pan for reasons we don't know. It could be because she's lost faith and belief in happy endings, and maybe she has a tiny little amount for hope for Peter because of what he's searching for. Or maybe it's because Neverland is a place of childhood imagination, and so maybe because of her childish beliefs she thinks she fits in, but who knows. What we do know from her story is that she remains supportive and hopeful on someone who many regarded as too far gone. And even though she was stripped of her wings, she, in my opinion, showed definite signs of a fairy godmother.